Live from the MAC in West Long Branch, New Jersey, it's college basketball on ESPN 3, featuring the Villanova Wildcats out of the Big East and the Monmouth University Hawks from the NEC. Hi, everybody. Along with Rob Kennedy, Dave Popkin, glad to be with you. Now, Monmouth is hosting a Big East team for just the fourth time ever in their gorgeous on-campus facility. A chance to make a statement today against Villanova, and a decent chance at that, Rob, because they turn teams over, and that is where Villanova has struggled this year.
Well, and certainly if they're going to pull the upset, they need that to happen literally to play into their hands. This is a Monmouth team that has forced over 21 turnovers per game, top 10 in the country in steals. They've got to create that kind of pace and create those turnovers to pull the upset.
Let's take a look at our one-on-one. Villanova's best player, Javon Pinkston, comes off the bench now. He's the sixth man, and he's been playing well.
And he's been coming off the bench the last 3 games. Not only has he played better in that role, but Villanova has played much better, winning their last 3 games, coming off a real good outing last time out against Delaware. We had 19 points and was fully comfortable in that role now as the sixth man.
On the other side for the Monmouth Hawks, Andrew Nicholas, a sophomore, is a lefty shooter. He can score.
Yeah, and he can stretch out in that career-high 28. He had 4 threes in that game against Topstra, but he's not just a standstill shooter. He's got good size and can score around the basket as well. A very crafty lefty scoring the basketball.
Our starting lineups: Villanova 7-4 on the year. Ryan Archidiakono has the keys to the Villanova car. He's the point guard. James Bell, Darren Hilliard, Maurice Sutton, and Muftau Yaru up front. Now for the Monmouth Hawks, Jesse Steele not in the starting lineup. He's been banged up, so Dion Nesmith and Jalen Palm in the backcourt. Nicholas we spoke of, Marcus Ware, and Khalil Brown up front. Monmouth 5-6 on the year. They have lost 3 in a row, albeit against a very difficult schedule. They played at Syracuse, at Maryland. King Rice is their second-year head coach, the former star point guard at North Carolina.
And a guy who's trying to revitalize this program, get some energy. There'll be great energy in this building, the first official sellout in the history of the Monmouth Hawks here in this gorgeous new building.
And in the other huddle for Villanova, no strangers to the NCAA tournament. Before last year, Jay Wright took them there 7 straight times and had over 20 wins in each of those seasons. You see his gaudy record as Villanova head coach. He's won over 350 games in his career, including his tenure at Hofstra. One of the great guys in college basketball.
And a terrific recruiter and a guy that gets his teams to play with energy and passion. They get off to a little bit of a slow start, hit a little bump, but that lineup change of putting Pinkston to the bench as the sixth man has really paid off well for Jay Wright and the Wildcats.
Villanova leads the all-time series 8-0 against Monmouth and beat them 106-70 last year in the opener for both teams at the Pavilion outside of Philadelphia. Andrew Nicholas greeting the officials. Wally Ratecki, Bill McCarthy, and Bill Clinton are the officials for this one, and all Big East crew. Villanova on the upswing. They have won 3 straight, 4 out of 5. They're in the dark uniforms. Both teams have the same colors, white and midnight blue. Monmouth, a home team, in white here with Khalil Brown, a sophomore from South Orange, New Jersey, jumping it up against Maurice Sutton. Villanova wins the tap, and we are underway. James Bell, the junior guard, more of a shooter, trapped, turns it over, just what we talked about in the open.
And Monmouth coming right out and blitzing that high ball screen right to the trap. Bell picked up his pivot foot, first turnover of the ball game.
For Monmouth to win this game, not only do they need to turn Villanova over, but they need to score off of that because they struggle to score otherwise in the half court.
No question. The other big stat to take a look at is on the backboards. Villanova, a good rebounding team. Monmouth has gotten beat up bad on the backboards in the early part of the season.
Marcus Ware from 14 feet. And again, Villanova struggling to bring the ball up. And they turn it over twice in the first 2 possessions. Here's Nicholas. And he turned it over. Dion Nesmith zigged when he should have zagged.
And as you said, it's important not just to force the turnovers, but convert off of them. Missed opportunity for King Rice's team after the good on-the-ball defense by Palm, getting a hand on the basketball against Arcidiacono.
Jalen Palm, the freshman from Louisville, pressuring the basketball. Yaru to Sutton. That three is good for Ryan Arcidiacono. Kid that didn't play last year. His senior year of high school, had a back injury. Jay Wright stuck with him, and he's said, hey, here's the team.
Oh, and he's gotten off to a great start early on. Has struggled shooting the ball as of late. Maybe that gets him off the schneid.
Averages 11 points per game. Nesmith off to Palm. Khalil Brown. That's a two. Khalil Brown, a much-traveled player. He grew up in South Orange, but played high school ball in Arizona, Mississippi, and in West New York, New Jersey. Stolen by Nicholas. 3 early turnovers for Villanova.
And Villanova has not handled the defense against the high ball streak. They've blitzed it twice, and they've forced a turnover both times.
Looking vulnerable here. Jalen Palm with a bigger Yaru on him. They left him wide open. Rebounded by Arcidiacono, the freshman. And that's a foul on Andrew Nicholas, his first.
Foul number 13, Andrew Nicholas. That's his first personal foul.
Jay Wright has never lost to Monmouth. Couple substitutes coming in here for Villanova. Tony Chenault, a junior point guard from Philadelphia, is in, along with Ashraf Yakubu and Javon Pinkston.
Hawks in zone defense now. You got to mark the shooters, especially Bell.
4 early turnovers for the Wildcats, and Palm does the same. Try to get it to him in traffic. Pinkston. He's a tough cover, an inside-outside player. Sutton. And that three is good for Tony Chenault, the transfer from Wake Forest.
And he has really been struggling the last couple of games. Just 2 of 10 from the floor in the last 3 games, so that's a good sign for the Wildcats.
All 6 of Villanova's points have come off Monmouth turnovers. Brown off to Palm. Nesmith feeding the post. Ware turned it over.
Yeah, great hands by Bell to poke it away.
Pinkston finishes.
Well, there's the size and strength, as you mentioned, a tough matchup because he can take you out to the perimeter, take bigger guys out, and certainly beat them off the bounce, but he can also take smaller guys inside. He's got that real thick upper body, makes him a tough matchup.
6'7", 260, a redshirt sophomore. Andrew Nicholas for 3.
Oh, nice set right there. And Nicholas stepping right into it with a ton of confidence.
Monmouth down only 1. Both defenses have been good here, turning the other offense over. Hawks go zone again. Pinkston inside to Sutton, rejected by Brown. And do they call a goaltend? They do. Count the basket for Sutton.
Yeah, nice high-low action against the zone defense. You get it right to the high post. Nice dump in. You see Sutton ball coming off the backboard on its downward flight. Good call by the officials. Sutton gets credit for the goal.
The big story here on the Monmouth campus in the past week or two, the fact that they'll be leaving the NEC for the MAC conference next year. We'll talk more about that throughout the broadcast. Traveling violation. 4 Monmouth turnovers. Khalil Brown committed that infraction. 50-52 left in the first half. Ragged start, but Villanova leads Monmouth 10-7 here at the MAC in West Long Branch. We're back with more on ESPN 3. Christmas time down the Jersey Shore. Santa with the oompa oompa, with the tuba and the Monmouth band, and getting set for Christmas here. And it's been a tough time down the shore with Superstorm Sandy. This area particularly hit hard, but the folks have come out today to support their Hawks. A sellout expected.
And as we said, first time in this building. And once again, here's the double team, and it continues to give Villanova problems.
30-second timeout called by Tony Chenault and the Villanova bench. They are being flustered by this Monmouth defense in the first half.
Well, he talked about the fact that the Hawks are so active defensively, averaging over 11 steals per game, 6th best in the country. And Jay Wright has seen it a couple of different ways. They blitz the high ball screen, force the turnovers in the front court, this time in the back court, out of the pressure defense coming out of the timeout.
If you're under 10 years old, make some noise right now.
Here's what Villanova has done so far. Got off to a decent start. They beat Purdue, but then kind of slid there for a while, losing 3 straight, Alabama, Columbia, and LaSalle. But now they've won 4 out of 5.
And playing much better. And they went on the road, had a good win against Vanderbilt on the road. But the real key win in that stretch was the win against their arch rival St. Joe's, in which they scored the last 9 points. That was so important for his team's confidence to steal that win.
Javon Pinkston with 4 early points off the bench as Villanova takes a 5-point lead. James Bell hit a big 3-pointer, 28 seconds left in that St. Joe's game. Brown finds Nicholas, and he was stripped and fouled. Shooting foul for Nicholas. Tony Chenault got him. That's his first. Just the first foul on the Villanova team, as you see King Rice stalking the sidelines. He wants up-tempo, a lot of pressure defensively, get the other team scrambling.
Yeah, and they've been able to do that all season long with their defense. But what they haven't done here in the early going is take advantage of all those Villanova turnovers. They've turned it back over themselves in transition. That's just one of the things, like, you want to try to play at a faster pace, but you got to know who you're playing. Maybe Villanova, you get the steal, maybe you don't want to attack a little bit so much.
It's a great point. Andrew Nicholas hits the free throw. Steven Spinella checking in for the first time, a 6'4" senior, local kid from Colts Neck, New Jersey. And Nicholas takes a seat. Full court pressure, and Pinkston pushed from behind by Ed Waite. That's his first. 3rd on the Monmouth team. And he talked about those points off of turnovers. Monmouth just 2, even though they've turned Villanova over 4 times. Pinkston finds the open man, and it's Ash Yakubu for 3.
And he's been playing well over the last 3 games. He's given him a good lift off the bench along with Pinkston. If you get the ball out of the initial trap, guys are going to be open. That time, Yakubu able to step right into it.
Villanova perfect from the field, and Monmouth has only missed 1 shot.
Number 32, James Bell.
James Bell back in for Villanova, replacing Chenault.
We've had good shooting, as you see right here again. Wide open, stepping, towing it right to the line, able to knock it down. Ball handling hasn't been so good, but the shooting's been excellent.
Jesse Steele in for the first time, top returning scorer for the Hawks. He is off the mark. And the rebound ripped away by Marcus Ware of Monmouth. Nesmith to Spinella. He's a transfer from South Carolina.
And granted the waiver to be able to play right away this year.
Ed Waite, good look inside. Finished by Marcus Ware, the senior.
Well, defensively overcommitting was Daniel Ochefu, the freshman big guy, came out just a little bit too high on the high ball screen, a little late getting there. So Ware's able to score it inside. You want to come and you want to show numbers and you want to bother them defensively off the high ball screen, but you can't get that high so that you can't recover.
Monmouth foul on Jesse Steele. Pinkston finds another open 3-point shooter. Bang!
Well, Bell's a terrific 3-point shooter, 43% on the season coming in, and he's hit a couple of big shots for them in the early going. You got to be able to find Bell.
Villanova perfect from downtown. They take their largest lead. They're 4 for 4 from the arc. Where? No. Villanova, a good rebounding team at plus 5.5 boards per game. Bell finds another open shooter, and they finally miss. Yakubu off the mark, and it goes out of bounds to Monmouth. Jay Wright turns 51 on Christmas Eve. Hope I look that good at 51.
Also number 11, Khalil Brown.
Done a phenomenal job at Villanova over the years. His 12th season with the Wildcats. He's averaged 21.5 wins per season.
It took him to the Final Four back in '09. He's had a couple appearances in the Elite Eight. What he's done is he's not only revived the program as far as the wins are concerned, he got everybody back into the program.
Khalil Brown. Hawks looking inside. Waite couldn't hold on to it. Spinella missed. Daniel Ochefu with the rebound. Here's Bell. He's shifty. Kind of a wild shot. Got bailed out with a foul.
He got himself out of control driving down the left side. The last thing you want to do defending in that situation is bail him out with contact.
Gary Cox just checked in for Monmouth, a redshirt senior from Houston, and the foul was on Cox. So James Bell to the free throw line, where he shoots them at 77%. Maurice Sutton, a shot blocker, back in for Villanova. He replaces Javon Pinkston. Bell is quite a story. Metal rods in his legs. He had stress fractures in both legs his freshman year, but he has recovered to become one of Villanova's best players, and he kept his hops too.
Yeah, and you know, coming off that freshman year where he missed time at the end of last year with an ankle injury, so he's just happy to be completely healthy right now. He's been their most consistent player so far this season.
Villanova trying to win their 4th straight. They have their largest lead, up by 9. Jesse Steele, the Army transfer, off to Ed Waite. Spinella for 3. Got it!
And he's got a strange shot from beyond the three-point line. It's a line drive, but that's the way he shoots it every time. Sometimes you're not quite sure if he's got enough arc to get it in there, but he does.
Looks like a laser.
Yeah.
Hilliard into Sutton. Bell. Can't ring it that time. Here's Spinella. Steele. Wildcats running. Knocked away from Bell, turned it over. His 4th turnover in the first half.
Here's where nothing happened. Get it out and run some offense. This is when you got to know who you're playing. It's a little bit different playing in the NEC than playing a Big East team like Villanova.
Hawks turn it over again. They're down by 6 to Villanova with 11:43 left in the first half. It's been exciting here at the MAC. We're back with more on ESPN 3. along with former Columbia and Monmouth assistant Rob Kennedy and our entire ESPN crew. Dave Popkin back with you in West Long Branch, New Jersey. On the shore, Villanova leading the Hawks of Monmouth 19-13. King Rice, second straight year he's played a very difficult schedule.
Yeah, last year they got off to that real rough start when they lost their first 8 games, but yeah, not afraid to go challenge themselves. They've already been out at Notre Dame. They've played as well up at Syracuse and Maryland, and now playing Villanova. So yeah, he's not afraid to go challenge his team to try and get them ready for the NEC schedule coming up.
Monmouth picked 7th in the NEC. They finished 5th last year, going 10-8 in conference play. A little bit of a surprise considering that start that you talked about in non-conference play. LIU is picked to win the NEC for the 3rd straight year. Maurice Sutton. And they find the big man Yaru down low, but he was fouled. Ed Waite got him. That's his second.
His second personal foul, 16th foul.
Monmouth has 16 fouls, so on the next one, Villanova will be in the bonus pretty early. 11:25 left in the first half.
A guy who really killed Monmouth last year. Had a career-high 24 points in that game to go along with 10 rebounds. His numbers have been down this year, a little bit more expected of him. Averaged over 11 points and over 8 rebounds last year. Top 10 in the Big East in rebounding. His numbers so far here this season, not quite up to those numbers he put up last year.
Yaru from Africa. He speaks 5 languages, 6 if you count basketball.
And it is a language in and of itself.
Steven Spinella turned it over. 6 Monmouth turnovers in the first half, so Villanova giving the Hawks a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, that 3/4 court trap that's always been so successful for Villanova. What you can't do is you can't get yourself in a situation along the sideline right over half court. That is a coffin corner. Don't want to put the basketball there.
Tony Chenault running the point for Villanova right now with Ryan Archidiacono on the bench. Nearly turned it over again. Chenault. A long 3, good. James Bell shoots them at 42% from downtown. That's 7th in the Big East.
And Chenault that time able to get around the double team on the high ball screen. Last couple of times off that ball screen, the Villanova guards have been able to get into the lane, force the defense to help. And when you do that, you get open looks from the 3.
Villanova takes their largest lead. They're 5 for 6 from downtown. A tie-up. Possession arrow favors Monmouth.
Possession to Monmouth. The Wildcats number 24, Ashley Kubu. And number 15.
Jay Wright squad trying to win their 4th in a row and their 8th of the year. The only Big East team with 4 losses. They struggled there for a while. Seems like he has the ship righted. Another turnover for the Hawks. And the leaner, no! A charge against Yakubu. Monmouth has drawn 29 charges this year.
And Christian White's a guy that always gives up his body, plays so hard, and at his size, you got to be able to do that. Terrific defense.
Wholesale changes for the Hawks. They'll have Jesse Steele at the point. Khalil Brown helping him bring the ball up. Steele is trapped, gets it away to Max DeLeo. First time we've seen him. Andrew Nicholas also in, along with Marcus Ware. Nicholas turned it over. Stolen by Yaru. 8 Monmouth turnovers.
Well, we talked about how important turnovers would be for Monmouth. Well, they have not helped themselves by giving it right back over to the Wildcats.
Bell, another 3. And a rare miss. DeLeo off to Steele. Nicholas for 3. Got it!
Well, that's the way to be aggressive. Move the basketball. DeLeo thought about it for a second, instead to walk on making a smart play to go find Nicholas.
7 for the sophomore Andrew Nicholas. Monmouth 3 for 5 from downtown, helping keep them in this game. Archie Diacono from the parking lot.
And he's got that kind of range. He's their best three-point shooter, even though he's been struggling the last couple of games. He's got that type of range.
Villanova on fire from downtown. They're 6 out of 8 from the arc, and they're back on top by 11. Three-point shooting for both teams, Roth, has been very good.
Especially Villanova getting a lot of good looks because they're collapsing the defense, whether it's the double teams getting the ball into the center of the floor, but kicking it ahead, guys stepping right in comfortably. If you're going to put that much pressure on, if you can get the ball into the high post area or center of the court, you're going to get some good open looks. The Hawks on the other side trying to get some of their own three-point shooting from a guy, Nicholas, who's 0 for 9 in their last game with only 2 points, but he's been able to step up with a couple of threes here to try and keep him within striking distance of Jay Wright's team.
27-16 Wildcats. These teams have been playing regularly, and it's a credit to Jay Wright that he's been willing to play a lot of the local teams, especially Monmouth. He's come here twice now.
Yeah, and a lot of Big East teams just don't go on the road.
DeLeo trapped, gets out of it. And a foul called on Villanova. They got Archie Diacono. See Max DeLeo in the game for Monmouth, and it bears mentioning his brother TJ plays for Temple. They had a big upset against Syracuse today.
Able to win that game at the Garden. Temple coming off a tough loss. They lost their last time out to Canisius, but they bounced back in a big way. Khalif Wyatt going for 33 in his first time ever in the Garden. Said he had never even been there. The guard out of Philadelphia. He made the most of his first visit to the world's most famous arena.
Nicholas left open.
Well, he said he can stretch out with his three-point shooting, and he certainly has done that. His 3 threes here in the first half, keeping the Hawks around.
Hawks 4 for 6 from downtown. Andrew Nicholas with 10 points. The redhead has been red hot. Rejected by Ware.
Well, they've not been able to find Nicholas a couple of times late on the closeout. Nicholas got good size at 6'6". Ball's out of his hands quickly. So the closeout's got to get there quicker.
Good-looking player. Struggled in his last one at Maryland, scoring only 2 points, but in Monmouth's opener this year, had 28 against Hofstra, and that's before they were a depleted team.
Well, they get him a lot of shots, and at times he's able to knock them down like he did in that opener against Hofstra, but he's also had a couple of nights where he's just completely misfired. None worse than a 3 of 17, 0 for 7 performance against Ryder. But when you go 3 for 17, you know that you're the guy that's going to get a lot of shots for their team.
Javon Pinkston gets a lot of shots for Villanova. He has 5 points and 4 assists thus far. Make it a half dozen. Nova by 10. The 8:20 mark of the first half. Both teams have been pressing and turning the other over. Nesmith finds Steele. And knocked away from him, but Monmouth will keep it.
Now, second time they've put the ball out of that half-court trap. You advance it up, you think you're done with the trap, but Villanova has stayed with it and twice nearly forced a turnover in the corner.
Nesmith for 3. Right place, right time for Ware, and 1.
Now Marcus Ware is a guy that's got Big East size and athletic ability inside. Does a good job. This ball's going to come up short. Quick to the basketball, and Ware's able to finish it inside.
Ware is a former NEC All-Rookie Team member. This is the last year Monmouth will be playing in the NEC. And the Northeast Conference is off to their best start ever. They have a conference RPI of 12.
Yeah, and certainly Robert Morris, you mentioned LIU, the preseason favorite in the league, although they had a tough injury. Julian Boyd, the NEC Player of the Year, will be out for the entire season, so that can shake things up. Wagner as well. Bashir Mason New coach replacing Danny Hurley. His team has had a couple impressive wins, including last night against SMU.
Villanova turns it over. Nesmith rejected. And the rebound grab by Hilliard. Here's Pinkston. And a foul. Ware tried to block the shot of Ochefu. Monmouth down only 7 to Villanova, hanging in there. 7:42 left in the first half. Andrew Nicholas has 10 for the Hawks. Their fans are excited. Don't go away. We're back. Back with you at Monmouth University. Villanova leading it 29-22 over the Hawks here in West Long Branch, New Jersey. Jay Wright, the longtime head coach of Villanova in his 12th year with the Wildcats. It's his 19th year overall, and he's been as successful as any coach in the country.
He's done a great job, as we said, not only getting Villanova back on track, winning basketball games, 2006 regular season Big East championship, great success in the NCAA tournament, but he's got everybody back involved with the program. And Rolly Massimino for a little while was kind of on the outs. He brought him back in. He's got Steve Lapis back in. He's done an incredible job of reaching out to everybody. He has a great event in the summer where all the Villanova Wildcats players, past and present, come back. He's done a great job of really getting everybody behind and supporting their program.
Villanova's next home game is against NJIT on the 28th, and that is alumni night, and they expect a lot of former Wildcat players to come back. Marcus Ware has played well, being guarded by the bigger Ochefu. Steal off to Nicholas. Tried to force feed it into the post and stolen by Villanova. Monmouth with 9 first half turnovers.
That's where you got to put the ball on the floor. A bounce pass, he can't react to it. Instead, trying to throw it directly in, you get a turnover.
I've been impressed by Monmouth's defense. They're making life difficult for Villanova. The only place where they've really struggled is they've left some three-point shooters open.
Yep, but they are aggressive and they are active on the defensive end, and that's what King Rice is looking for. Friday at practice, he was running all over the place. He looked like he could get out there and play. A couple of times he had the ball into his hands, demonstrating things, and looked like King Rice could go out there and play tomorrow if he needed to.
He was quite a player. A 1992 grad of North Carolina, played in 4 Sweet 16s. Javon Pinkston hits the front end of the 1-and-1. Monmouth with 9 team fouls now. Nobody in serious trouble. Jesse Steele with 2. Tyrone O'Garo into the game for the Hawks, a freshman from Newark. And the second one also goes. Pinkston averages 12. He has 8 already. Nicholas stepped on the sideline. 10 Monmouth turnovers.
And they keep putting the ball on the sideline against this half-court trap. It's the third time they've turned it over. Right here in front of you and I, they've got to get the ball to the center of the floor to be able to attack the half-court trap.
And Villanova has converted 17 points off of those turnovers, not including this possession. Chenault to Pinkston. Now James Bell, a deep threat. Hilliard, Bell. Monmouth ball.
30-second timeout called by Villanova.
Villanova calls a 30-second timeout. Their second. Still struggling somewhat with Monmouth's trapping defense.
Yeah, Monmouth has really put good pressure on it. They've kept Villanova out of the lane. A little late getting out to a couple of three-point shooters. But if you're King Rice, you got to love the way your defense is played. But you can't be too happy with the way that you've taken care of the basketball on the other end.
Saw in that Monmouth huddle some familiar faces along with King Rice, two of his former teammates from North Carolina, Brian Reese and Derek Phelps. The latter two played in that national championship game in New Orleans against Chris Webber in Michigan.
Yep, two guys who are terrific high school players in the New York City Catholic League. Sam Ferry sitting there in between the two. Came from Vanderbilt along with King Rice.
6:20 left in the first. Dave Popkin, Rob Kennedy with you. Jesse Steele inside to Marcus Ware. Nesmith has been quiet. And Villanova coming over the back on the rebound try. Tyrone O'Garo getting good position. Foul on Pinkston, that's his first.
And that's a shot that Nesmith would have taken last year. He's a good three-point shooter last year at 38%. He just cannot find the range from deep this year. Coming in at 18%, so you become gun shy.
Only 5 made threes for Deion Nesmith, who took one in the eye that time. Darren Hilliard got him.
And that's a situation where you just got to get your confidence back in practice, because then all of a sudden you're not as effective a driver if guys don't have to come challenge it out at the three-point line.
Monmouth makes some changes. Ed Waite is back in the game along with Khalil Brown, Jesse Steele, Andrew Nicholas, and Nesmith.
Well, King Rice has used his bench. 12 Monmouth players have been in the game already.
He plays everybody. That three is good for Jesse Steele.
And nice feed by the big guy, Waite. Little role reversal. The center getting a little dribble drive action and kicking it out to steal the point guard.
Hawks down only 7. Villanova turns it over, their 8th.
Well, penetration always collapses the defense. Nice kick out by Waite. Stayed under control, looked like a guard there. Able to kick it out to Steele for the open look.
Jesse Steele came to Monmouth, walked on. He was a player at Army out of Milford, New Jersey. Waite turned it over. Stolen by Archie Diacono. Hilliard. Not that time, and it glanced off of a Villanova hand. Monmouth ball.
So Monmouth hanging around despite the fact that they've kicked it around and haven't taken care of the basketball. Last 5 minutes here, if you're the Hawks, you got to settle in. You got to get the ball up on the rim each of the last couple of possessions. Get yourself into the locker room with a manageable deficit.
Good reach in by Maurice Sutton. And a tie-up. Villanova basketball with 5 minutes to go in the first half.
As soon as I say that, what do? They kick it around again. Jay Wright's team has done a good job defensively creating turnovers for themselves, but Monmouth's got to take care of the basketball better.
Hawks have a great soccer team, but they're not scheduled to play tonight.
No, but they've been kicking it. I'll tell you that much.
Here's Arch, as the Villanova fans call him. freshman from Langhorne, PA.
A lot easier for the play-by-play to call him Ryan Arch, too, you know.
Sutton connects. I don't mind Arcidiacono.
Now, there you go. Rolls right off. Well, that's a part of Sutton's game that you just didn't see the last couple of years. Starting to become a little bit more comfortable offensively around the rim. So Villanova continues to shoot it lights out.
Villanova trapping the Hawks. Nicholas for three. Ed Waite keeps it alive. Nicholas using the right. And followed up by Khalil Brown.
Oh, we'll call that an assist. Smart play by Red to put the ball up on the rim. You know, sometimes guys will just all of a sudden try to put it up on the rim, see if you give yourself a chance to go get it. Brown there to clean it up.
Sutton hammered, nothing called. And the ball out of bounds to Monmouth.
That was good post defense, just walling up by the much smaller Ed Waite. And he's given up at least 6-7 inches against Sutton inside, but he held his ground.
These games are a challenge for Wade. He's basically 6'3", a former football player, just a physical guy. In the NEC, he can hang at that position, but against the Big East team, it's troublesome. Stolen again. Arcidiacono to Hilliard. And he'll be shooting two. 3:47 left in the first half. Second foul on Andrew Nicholas, who leads Monmouth with 10, but they trail at 34-27 against the Villanova Wildcats. More on ESPN 3 after this. Dave Popkin and Rob Kennedy back with you at Monmouth. Villanova leading at 34-27, and they're doing that because of their defense. They have forced 13 Monmouth turnovers, and they've scored 19 points off of those turnovers.
Yeah, not only coming up with them, but making good on it at the other end. It's been their man-to-man defense, active hands. Nice job by Ryan Arch to get involved. Good post defense as well, deflections, and they've done it with their half-court trap as well, forcing the Monmouth Hawks to the sideline. And as you said, Dave, not just coming up with the turnovers, but converting them at the other end. And that's been the big difference. Monmouth was able to force turnovers against Jay Wright's team early on. They were unable to convert where the Wildcats had.
Good balance for Villanova. 8 different players have scored. Javon Pinkston leads the Cats with 8. Darren Hilliard, the sophomore from Bethlehem, PA. 62% free throw shooter.
He and Andrew Nicholas were AAU teammates playing for Tony Sagona and the Jersey Shore Warriors. So those two guys going at each other here tonight on opposite sides.
Villanova puts on the pressure again. Skip pass to Nicholas.
Look at the ground that Sutton can cover. You see it right there as he gets back into play and comes up with the block shot. Great athlete at 6'11".
Even going to the reverse, Nicholas unable to escape Maurice Sutton. Traveling violation. Villanova has turned it over 9 times.
Number 23, Stephen Spinella.
See Sutton say, my bad. Well, it was his good play at the other end defensively. Gets beat, but stays right with it. And see the length right there. As you said, Nicholas tried to go to the reverse, try to use the rim as a shield against him, but Sutton just too long.
Villanova has led by 11, up by 9. It's been pretty close throughout. Both teams shooting it well.
Yeah, when they get shots up, you saw that turnover graphic. 22 combined turnovers between the two of them here in the first 17 minutes.
Jesse Steele off to Nesmith. Missed it with the shot clock running down. And the Hawks will keep it. Ochefu touched it last.
And Nesmith again short on the 3, much like he was on his first attempt. You can see his head's down. He's kind of shaking his head. Just can't figure out why he's not able to knock down shots.
New lineup for Villanova. Chenault, Hilliard, Sutton, Yakubu, and Pinkston in the game.
Really important that Monmouth takes care of the basketball here in the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Want to get to the locker room, make sure that lead's in single digits.
Nesmith being hassled. Now Steele, and he turned it over. It's been a major problem for Monmouth here in the first half.
Checks in the game.
Hawks won 2 out of 3 down in Georgia in a tournament earlier this year. They've beaten Hofstra, Lafayette. They won at Binghamton, so they've had some decent wins.
Yeah, one of those wins down in Georgia was against South Alabama, a team that ended up beating Florida State early in the season.
Hilliard was fouled. And he'll be shooting 2. The Wildcats have been in the double bonus for a while.
And the Hawks had been playing well up until the second half of that Navy game. And since then, they've had 5 consecutive halves where the opponent has scored at least 50 points. Doesn't look like the Villanova Wildcats are going to get to that number. But they had been playing well right up until that point.
Coming up at the half, I had a chance to speak with Monmouth VP and Athletic Director Dr. Marilyn McNeil before the ball game, so we'll share that with you at halftime. We'll have stats and highlights. Monmouth moving to the MAC, the Metro Atlantic next year, a conference with which Rob has great familiarity. They'll be going with Quinnipiac, a couple of great on-campus arenas.
You know, certainly a great move for the MAC and also a great move for both schools. And as you said, 2 terrific on-campus facilities. And they'll have the 2 best on-campus facilities of any schools in the MAC right off the bat.
Stephen Spinella. Palm to Waite, and he traveled.
Tell you what, Villanova has just been so quick, bothering the basketball, hands in passing lanes the entire time. Their man-to-man defense has really been good here in this first half.
Forcing 15 Monmouth turnovers.
They're all over the place, aggressively getting after the basketball, but great rotation to get out, close out, and force yet another turnover.
That kind of defense keeps you in a lot of games.
And that's always been a staple of Jay Wright's teams. Everybody talks about how guard-oriented they are. Well, one of the things with all those guards on the floor is you can really get out and put pressure on the basketball.
Hilliard, and 1. Khalil Brown got him.
Everybody talks about that Final Four run back in 2009. Yes, they had 4 guards offensively, but it was their defense of those 4 guards that really just got out and took people out of their offenses, and that's what they've been able to do here tonight. Not as many guards on the floor. They've got some more big guys that see a lot more time with this particular team, but it's the same concept, the ball pressure all over the place.
Yeah, a little longer. Maurice Sutton added to the starting lineup. He's been playing more. Gives him a shot blocker on the back line. Hilliard missed the free throws, but Villanova has their largest lead. Up by 12 here, 1:20 left in the first half. James Bell back in for Jay Wright and Muftal Yaru.
And what's funny, Dave, is sometimes just one little change in your lineup can help not only one guy, but can help your entire team. And that's what happened when they put Pinkston to the bench. And you got to give Javon a lot of credit because he's a guy who's a high school All-American coming in. A lot of guys wouldn't take the, in quote, demotion to the bench. It's not a demotion. It just gives them a different look, including allowing Sutton to get some minutes early and allow them to really establish their defense with his length in the back line.
Pinkston still playing starters minutes and has started the second half at times recently.
It always amazes me, especially in high school, how many kids, parents, and everybody else gets caught up in who's starting a basketball game. It's who's going to play minutes. It doesn't matter if you come off the bench, but I really give Pinkston a lot of credit for accepting that new role.
And who's going to finish the game.
Yeah, much rather finish it than start it.
Archie Diacono splits the defenders, finds an open shooter, Chenault.
Well, great job, as you said, of splitting the defense by Ryan Arts, and a nice kick out to Chenault, who's been able to knock down 2 threes. Had only 3 in their first 11 games coming in, but has been hot here in the first half.
Villanova 7 for 10 from downtown. Spinella, no. Rebounded by James Bell.
It's not a turnover, but a wild shot like that, just about the same effective as a turnover.
And a blocking foul on Jalen Palm, the freshman. And that's like a turnover, too.
Yep, and Monmouth let it get away from here in the last couple of minutes. We talked about it with about 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, how important it was to finish out this first half. Monmouth has not been able to do that.
The Hawks improved, though. This is not like the games where they were blown out at Syracuse and blown out at Maryland.
No, because their defense has been good. The problem is their offense, if they just didn't turn the basketball over as much as they did in the first half, they'd be right there.
Chenault averaging under 4 points. He has 7 already tonight.
Transfer from Wake Forest, who's the starting point guard for the Demon Deacons last year. Backup role here to the freshman Ryan Arcidiacono.
He got the immediate waiver from the NCAA to play this year without having to wait a year. Jesse Steele, 2 seconds left. Steele couldn't get it, and Villanova leads it at the half, 44-29. They take their largest lead into the locker room. Wildcats went on a 10-2 run to end the first half. Monmouth AD Marilyn McNeil will join me in just a moment to talk about conference realignment and more. Villanova out of the Big East, leading it by 15. Villanova 7 for 10 from downtown. They lead Monmouth 44-29 at the half. And before the ball game, I had a chance to speak with the Monmouth VP and Athletic Director, Dr. Marilyn McNeil. Well, Marilyn, a lot going on, obviously, at Monmouth these days. It must not have been an easy choice for you to make that move to the MAC. Obviously good for the school, but you and the school have been such a big part of the NEC for a long time.
We have, and we've been a proud member of the Northeast Conference. It was very, very difficult to make, and at the end of the day, I think it really was a business decision, and it was what we thought was best for Monmouth going forward. But the Northeast Conference and all the members of the conference have been extremely good for us. It's been a great place for us to be. We've had a lot of success, and so I hated to say goodbye, but we had to say goodbye.
And now you'll face off against Ryder, an old NEC foe, and Quinnipiac will be going with you. So certainly some familiar rivals, St. Peter's in the state as well. Now, this building rocking tonight. This is why you build a 4,000-seat facility, so you can host teams like Villanova, and it's a big day on campus.
It is. It's a huge day on campus, and we expect to be sold out tonight. I think we'll probably be sold out before the game begins. And it is. We built this hoping that we would have the days of Boylan when we used to play Ryder down to the minute, and we were standing room only, and we envisioned that one day we could double that and have the same kind of atmosphere here. Tonight should be a good test of that, and I'm really looking forward, and I hope our athletes are looking forward to it.
You've already had some highs and lows with King Rice in his second year. Last year, a big high, 10 wins in the NEC, and playing a very aggressive schedule, so he's certainly helped put you on the map.
He has, and I think he would disagree that was a high last year. Finishing with 10 wins was good, but he says he never wants to have that many losses again. He's been an exciting addition to our program. It's been fun to watch him develop as a head coach, and it's been fun to watch him develop his young players. They play an exciting brand of basketball. Everybody enjoys watching them, and I hope they have some confidence tonight because this is a big foe, but I hope we're in the game.
All right. 9 different players have scored for Villanova, 8 for Tony Chenault, and Javon Pinkston has 8 as well. Wildcats by 15 on the road here at the half. We're back with stats and highlights in a bit. Back with you in West Long Branch, Villanova leading at 44-29 over the Monmouth University Hawks. Dave Popkin, Rob Kennedy back with you at the half. We talked with Marilyn McNeil, the Monmouth AD, about conference realignment. It's now touched 25 different conferences, Rob, even the NEC. They lose Monmouth and Quinnipiac. And those conferences, the NEC and the MAC, comparable this year. The NEC 12th, which is their all-time best, at least so far, and the MAC is 13th, but the MAC traditionally has had some better programs.
Well, and what they have as well is some more depth in their conference. When you think about it, last year they were able to get an at-large bid. Iona wasn't able to take advantage of that, although they certainly looked like they were good in the first half against BYU, but they were able to get themselves an at-large bid. A couple of years ago, Siena was a team that if they had not won the MAC tournament, that they probably would have been an at-large team. On the other side, the NEC has never had an at-large team, so it is a bit of a step up as far as conference affiliation is concerned. And I think everybody around the Monmouth program is excited about it, but I think MAC's excited about it as well. Not only Monmouth, but Quinnipiac, and as you talked about, two great on-campus facilities, including the MAC that we're seeing right here on the campus of Monmouth.
Now for Villanova, they'll be leaving their conference as well, kind of. They're taking 6 teams with them, the Catholic 7, they call them, going with Seton Hall, St. John's, Georgetown, Marquette, etc., and starting their own thing and probably inviting some top squads to join them.
Well, everybody's talking about, is it going to be 10 teams or 12 teams? I think it'll probably end up being 12 teams just because of the volume that they're going to need as far as TV games are concerned, but certainly Xavier, Dayton, Butler, and then Creighton. And then I'm not so sure if they go to 12 who that 15 will be. Is it going to be St. Louis? Are they going to look south? Are they going to go to a Richmond or potentially a VCU? I think you're pretty solid that those other 4 are going to be. There's even been talk about Gonzaga maybe being in it. But I don't know that you're going to see the geographic footprint of the new Big East. May not be called the Big East, but to me it's still the Big East with that core of those 7 teams. It'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with that.
The guys that are going to be happiest are the lawyers trying to figure this thing out.
Yeah, they're going to have their hands full for a while.
All right, Villanova leading it by 15 here at the half. 44-29 against the Monmouth University Hawks. We're back with stats and highlights in a moment. Standing room only, 4,000 plus on hand at a sold-out MAC in West Long Branch, New Jersey. Villanova leading it on the road by 15 here at the half. Dave Popkin, Rob Kennedy, back with you. And Monmouth got off to a good start defensively, turning Villanova over, but they weren't able to convert. And conversely, both teams have been so hot from downtown.
Well, really, both teams shot lights out. For Monmouth early on, it was their leading scorer coming in. Andrew Nicholas, he was cold the last couple of games, but he was hot here in the first half, knocking down 3 threes to come up with 10 points as their leading scorer, keeping Monmouth around for a while. But the problem is the Hawks just turned it over too often. At the other end, Villanova able to take advantage of size inside. Sutton on a nice move, but it's been the Wildcats defense, scrappy, getting after the basketball, closing out and forcing the turnovers. But then, unlike Monmouth, who forced turnovers and didn't convert offensively, the Wildcats have been able to do that. Everybody getting a hand on the basketball and then getting in transition, able to finish plays off. Nice finish out on the break there by Pinkston.
Both teams shooting it well. Villanova exceptional at 60%, 7 for 10 from downtown. 16 Monmouth turnovers have led to 27 Villanova points.
I'll tell you what, we talked about it in the open about how important points off turnovers would be. We thought it might be Monmouth that was going to be able to hang around by creating some of those points off turnovers. It was all Villanova in the first half of that department.
Javon Pinkston 8 for Villanova and a career high 4 assists. Monmouth down by 15. We're back with the second half after this. Dave Popkin, Rob Kennedy back with you along with our ESPN3 crew along the Jersey Shore. Villanova has made the trip from Philly, and so far so good for them. They lead it by 15. Javon Pinkston and Tony Chenault with 8. James Bell with 7. A balanced attack. And for King Rice and the Monmouth Hawks, Andrew Nicholas, the only double-figure scorer. Marcus Ware with 7 because Monmouth has done a good job with second chance points.
Yeah, 10-0. Their advantage against Villanova. So we thought it would be the complete opposite coming in, that Villanova would dominate that stat, and it might be Monmouth that would have an advantage in the turnover department.
Monmouth starts the second half with Andrew Nicholas, Jalen Palm, Dion Nesmith, Khalil Brown, and Marcus Ware. That's Brown. Palm, the freshman, nearly turned it over again, and he did.
And that's at least the third time that Villanova's come up with the steal on a post entry. And most of the times that's a foul, but they're so quick are their post players at getting around, getting a hand on it to force yet another turnover.
King Rice has played all 12 players, and he has done that all year, which is great for team chemistry, etc. But against a team like this, you have a lot of freshmen playing and turning the ball over. Andrew Nicholas, blocking foul, and they should count the basket as a goaltend, and Wally Ratecki does. He comes over and makes the late call, so a chance for a three-point play for Nicholas.
And for Monmouth, just their second time they've been able to convert a turnover into points at the other end.
You know what I mean? It's a little uncommon to play every player throughout the whole season. A lot of times in the preseason before conference play, you play everybody, see what you've got, and then when conference play comes, narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah, and one of the things I think that you're seeing is trying to get themselves ready for the NEC. And you're right. At some point in time, though, Dave, they got to narrow that down. You can't get 12 guys minutes every day.
Nicholas completes the three-point play. He has 13 to lead all scorers and almost creates a steal. Looks like a rugby match out there.
Well, this is the way Villanova started the first half, turning it over the first two possessions.
Sutton missed the flush, out of bounds to Monmouth.
Well, Sutton going strong, just hit it off the back of the rim.
Villanova has started the second half with Archie Diacono at the point, Sutton, Pinkston, Bell, and Hilliard. Brown, the sophomore, gives up to Nesmith, another local guy from Union, New Jersey. And they're trying to feed Brown, but he was fouled.
Fouls on number 22.
Javon Pinkston charged with a personal. That is his second.
Second team foul.
Nobody in serious foul trouble. Nobody with 3 yet.
23, Daniel Chico checks into the game for the Wildcats.
Ash Yakubu is back in there, replacing Pinkston. Brown tried to force it against the bigger Ochefu. Stolen by Nicholas.
That's what happened with freshmen. Giveth and taketh away.
Andrew Nicholas forces a Villanova timeout. He has 16 points, and Monmouth is right in this game, down 44-35. We'll step aside with 18:29 left in the ball game. Nicholas has been hot. Back at the shore in a moment. Monmouth was down by 15 points at halftime, but Andrew Nicholas has come out of the locker room with 6 straight Monmouth points, and he's looked good.
Yeah, he was able to come up with a steal, convert a three-point play the old-fashioned way, and now steps out, knocks down his 4th three of the ball game, and just like that, the Hawks are right back in the ball game.
And that 10-2 run by Villanova to end the first half looming large, because Monmouth could be within a possession here.
It's always so important when you're the team that's trying to pull the upset. The last couple of minutes of the first half, so important that you don't allow that lead to stretch out. Monmouth didn't do that, but they were able to get off to this quick start here in the second.
Archie Diacono, he's been quiet. Sutton falls. Looked like he traveled.
Nope, called a timeout, and that's a situation where I'd rather lose the possession and keep the timeout.
30-second timeout.
The Wildcats have used a lot of timeouts here in the early going.
Only one left.
Yep.
So Maurice Sutton, the senior, falling down. Called time. 18-12 left, early second half. Monmouth trying to pull the upset. And Andrew Nicholas helping keep them in this game, playing with an Achilles problem, but you wouldn't know it.
Yeah, he missed 5-6 days of practice, and one of the reasons why he struggled last time out against Maryland, where he was 0 for 9 from the floor, but showing good bounce and stepping right into those three-point shots with a lot of confidence. It was interesting at practice on Friday, anytime they were doing any kind of running, sprints for losing a situation, he didn't run, trying to conserve his Achilles. Instead, he was doing crunches, wasn't just sitting around doing nothing, but they were trying to make sure that they get him completely healthy.
He'll have 8 days off before the New Year's Eve tilt at Fordham. Leaner won't go for the Wildcats, and here comes Jalen Palm. Nesmith. Oh, Ware couldn't jam it. And there is a foul called after.
It was a late whistle. There was some contact as Ware went hard to the basket. Little contact on the dunk attempt. The whistle came well after it. Joe McCarthy a little late, but did look like there was some contact on it. Ware and his quickness and athletic ability, even though Sutton's so quick off his feet, if they can get him at that high post area where he can go dribble drive, can give the Villanova Wildcats some problems.
King Rice talking with his trusted assistants, Rick Callahan, Derek Phelps, Brian Reese. How are we going to pull this thing off? Ware makes 1 out of 2. Jesse Steele replaces Jalen Palm. Steele had 12 points, 5 assists versus Villanova last year.
And they desperately need him to start playing at the level that he was playing at last year.
Sutton snaps the 7-0 Monmouth run off the good look from Pinkston.
They made sure he didn't misfire on that dunk attempt.
Jesse Steele trying to float it over the bigger defender, Bell. Hilliard will be shooting too.
And that's the way to be aggressive out on the break. Hilliard's got good size going up against a smaller defender. Put him in jail by leaning in and creating that contact.
That's his 3rd personal foul.
See right here, he crosses it over and looks a little shoulder leaning, creates the contact, gives himself a chance to finish the three-point play. Doesn't go, so have to go earn the 2 from the line.
3rd foul on Dion Nesmith. First for the Hawks. Hilliard, a 62% shooter, hits the first. Villanova strong at the line, 14 out of 18. Max DeLeo in there for Nesmith. Hilliard makes them both.
Here comes this 3-quarter court trap that gave the Hawks problems in the first half.
DeLeo trapped, tried to call time. Looked like it could have been a backboard violation. Bernard Clinton in there to separate a few players. And they call it a held ball situation. And Villanova will have it.
When DeLeo was in the ball game in the first half, he turned it over, nearly turned it over against that half-court trap. Again, put himself in a tough position along the sideline. This time, he does turn it over.
Monmouth has shot it pretty well, but they've shot themselves in the foot with 18 turnovers. Pinkston. Good luck, Sutton. Maybe one too many passes.
Yeah, great ball movement, but you've got to finish it off.
Ware dribbled into traffic instead of taking the jumper. And another held ball. This one goes to Monmouth. It's been a ragged game. Both teams playing spirited defense and turning the other over.
Yeah, especially the first couple minutes of each half. First half as well as here in the second half. Both teams kicking it around.
Andrew Nicholas has 16 points for King Rice. The rest of the team only 20 combined. Brown to Nicholas. This has been the guy.
Well, that is a tough shot, though. Even though you're the guy right now, you've got to get it in the context of your offense. They don't need that shot.
Wide open. Pinkston. Got it.
Well, nice job of pick and pop. Arcidiacono doing a good job of getting some space coming off that screen to allow the throwback to Pinkston.
Villanova matches their largest lead. Javon Pinkston hitting it from downtown.
Here's a nice job by Arcidiacono. See the extra bounce to get some space to now be able to kick it back to Pinkston for the nice pick and pop.
11 points, 5 assists for Pinkston. Villanova will have NJIT on the 28th, and then I think a pretty favorable start to their Big East schedule, Rob.
Well, they've got a home game against the St. John's team that has struggled at times in the early season. They lost last time out against UNC Asheville. And then on the road to South Florida team who does not look like the same Bulls team from last year that was so good defensively. But then it doesn't get easier after that. Then you go on the road to Syracuse, even though the Orange did lose their first game of the season earlier today against Temple. And then Pitt, a team that has played very well in the early season. And last year, I think, was one of those years that you just throw away if you're a Pitt Panther. I think the Panthers are going to be back in the thick of things this year.
Still couldn't get it. Villanova on a 7-0 run to take a 15-point lead. Bell. Looked good from the time it left his hand. James Bell.
Well, it usually looks good when it leaves his hands. A terrific three-point shooter. You got to get out and challenge. Spinella a little late, hands down. You do that, he's going to make you pay.
And a bump underneath against Villanova. 15:31 left in the second half. Foul on Ochefu. 54-36. Wildcats with their largest lead. James Bell with 10 points. Maurice Sutton with the jam. We're back.
Take it away, Jobo.
Villanova on a 10-0 run. They're 9 for 12 from downtown and starting to pull away from the Monmouth Hawks here at the MAC.
Just when it looked like the Hawks had got themselves right back in it, Villanova has had the answer. Terrific job of creating space a couple of times by the freshman point guard, Ryan Arch. They're moving the basketball, getting guys involved. Pinkston stretching the defense on this nice pick and pop. But they've got dribble penetration into the lane. One of the reasons why they're 9 for 12 from beyond the three-point line, because Jay Wright's team has had a lot of good looks at the basket. 9 threes tonight, coming off a season-high 10 the last time out against Delaware. So all of a sudden, the Wildcats starting to find their groove from beyond the three-point line.
Hawks come up empty. Villanova wearing the blue uniforms if you're just joining us on the road. They have never lost to Monmouth, 8-0 all time.
And Monmouth has never beaten a Big East team.
Fourth time they've hosted a Big East team here. Rutgers and Seton Hall have also been in. Ware rebounds the Pinkston miss. There's Ware.
Ware's the other Hawk who's been able to step up and give a good effort. He and Nicholas have carried them offensively, but they need some other guys to step up.
10 points for Marcus Ware. Nicholas with 16.
And Hawks not getting a lot out of Jesse Steele. Their leading returning scorer averaged nearly 13 a game last year, averaging under 8 this year.
Knocked away from Yaru, who threw up a wild shot, and now Yaru a little too aggressive, knocking Max DeLeo to the ground.
One thing about DeLeo, the walk-on's not afraid to go mix it up. That's why King Rice has got him in the game, even though he's a walk-on, a guy that gives him good energy.
Scrappy.
Yep, he's scrappy. He talks all the time in practice. I mean, he does not stop talking. You can see he is a favorite of his teammates and gets some minutes to try and give him some energy.
Monmouth will be in the bonus soon. Villanova 5 team fouls already. Hawks only 1. Steele using the high screen. Monmouth just dribbling into traps, dribbling into trouble.
And there's the presence of Sutton on the back line. Steele got himself into the line, looked up and saw Sutton and thought otherwise.
And Hilliard stepped out of bounds.
Again, against a trapping defense, you can't pick the ball up and get yourself so tight to the sideline. We've seen both teams put themselves in a tough spot. You see Jay Wright saying, pass it, get it out of there. Don't put yourself in that tough spot.
13 Villanova turnovers. That's what Monmouth is good at. They're first in the NEC, 13th in the country in turnover margin. And wait. Rejected. Couple guys got a hand on it.
Yeah, and there's where his size, you talked about it. He's an undersized post player. You get away with that in the NEC a lot easier than you do against a front line as big as Villanova's. Sutton's size, he's got the quickness to stay with you. Then there's the length. Good help on the weak side as well, coming over to challenge it by Ochefu.
Monmouth pressing. Steven Spinella back in the game for the Hawks, along with Gary Cox. They'll play with Steele, Waite, and Brown.
That's the way to move the basketball against the trap. And if you do that, you get yourself an open 3. 10 now for the Wildcats.
10 for 13. Darren Hilliard hitting for the first time from deep.
You could take that possession right there, Dave, and put it on a instructional video of how to handle the half-court trap. Get it out of the trap quick, get it to the center of the floor, reverse it to the weak side. You get a wide open look from 3.
Hilliard is the third Wildcat into double figures. He has 10.
Well, here's the ball movement. You get it out of the trap before it gets there. Arch does a great job, get it to the high post, and freshman to freshman, both freshmen making good decisions to get rid of the basketball before the trap gets there and get the wide open look from 3.
Monmouth has struggled this year against teams like Jay Wright's Wildcats, struggled against Syracuse, Maryland, etc., but it's going to toughen them up for league play.
Nice back door.
Spinella. Splendid.
Well, that's the pressure release. If the Wildcats are going to get out and deny on the wing and be that aggressive, you've got to be able to make them pay for it. Nice backdoor cut and an even better pass to put it there.
Archie Diacono for three.
And it looked like he may have gotten hit on that as well. Well, he's had a good game. You know, it's always hard for a freshman to come on in and, as you say, right off the bat get the keys to the car, which is what he has been able to do.
Villanova takes their largest lead. 11 threes is a season high for them. They have been unconscious from the arc.
Fouls on number 23, Daniel Ochefu. His second
foul on Ochefu.
Foul on the Wildcats. At the line for Hawks, number 21, Marcus Ware. He has 2 shots.
Marcus Ware shooting 2 for Monmouth, the senior from Vineland, New Jersey. 60% free throw shooter. Villanova with some changes. Ash Yakubu, the Bronx native, is in there. And he replaces Tony Chenault. So Villanova has Yakubu, Archie Diacono, Sutton, Hilliard, and Ochefu in the game. And Pinkston also checking in here for Nova, replacing Sutton. Villanova looking a lot better than they did earlier this season. Had a nice win against St. Joe's recently, coming off a 10-point win against Delaware. There was really a bigger margin than that for most of the game. Here's Arch. Another held ball situation. Villanova will have it after this timeout. 11:47 left in the ball game. Monmouth down 19 here at home. Back with more college basketball on ESPN 3. Great atmosphere here at Monmouth University in West Long Branch, New Jersey. Dave Hopkin, Rob Kennedy back with you, and Villanova with a 60-41 lead. And anytime a team shoots 11 for 15 from downtown, they're going to be leading that game.
Yeah, you're in trouble when a team shoots that way against you, but especially when it's a team that, quite frankly, has got more talents, bigger than you, and is expected to win the game. So when you got a team like Jay Wright's Villanova team come in and shoot it 11 from 15 from beyond the three-point line, you know what? If you're the Hawks, you're saying to yourself, you know what? We're probably lucky to only be down 19.
Yakubu for three. Finally a miss for the Wildcats. Here's Hilliard going 1-on-2. And it won't count. Monmouth draws their 20th charge of the year. Marcus Ware on the D.
Player control foul, holding number 4, Darren Hilliard.
They got Hilliard, that's his second.
Foul, 17 foul.
Andrew Nicholas leads all scorers. He has 16 for Monmouth to go along with 4 steals. 11 for Marcus Ware of the Hawks, but Villanova with some great balanced scoring. Pinkston with 11, 10 for Bell and for Hilliard. And a kick. Hawks will keep it. King Rice has Monmouth playing an aggressive schedule. 3 Big East teams, an ACC team, and an A-10 team.
And the problem for King Rice right now is senior backcourt. Nesmith and Jesse Steele, guys with a lot of experience that you expected a lot from them. They haven't delivered here tonight. Just 3 points combined between those 2 guys.
Ware was rejected. No foul called. Ochefu was the man, and he stepped out of bounds, so the Hawks will keep it. Monmouth with a host of changes here as Andrew Nicholas, their leading scorer, is back in, along with Dion Nesmith. They'll play with Brown, Ware, and Palm.
And for the Hawks to really challenge in the NEC, they're going to have to get more scoring out of Jesse Steele as well as Nesmith. As we said, veteran guys. Steele, the senior, Nesmith still with at least another year of eligibility. They will try to see if they can't get him too. He had the crazy situation where he was a football player, a quarterback up at Northeastern. They dropped the football program. You thought he'd be able to transfer, play right away. Had he transferred to play football, he would have been able to play right away. Instead, the NCAA, in their infinite wisdom, made him sit a year. They're trying to appeal that and see if they can get that extra year back.
So strange. Nicholas for 3. Rebounded by Ash Yakubu out of Long Island Lutheran, former New York Player of the Year. So is Javon Pinkston, and he is fouled underneath by a couple Hawks. They'll charge the personal to Andrew Nicholas. That's his third.
I'll tell you what, Ochefu's had a couple of nice feeds on their high-low action inside. You know, the freshman big showing you that he's got some perimeter skills. It was a terrific feed to go find Pinkston inside.
Villanova has passed the ball well. They have 12 assists on 17 field goals. They have turned it over, but generally that's been against the press, kind of dribbling into traps.
And what's funny is if you take away their 3 turnovers in the first 2 minutes of the first half and their 2 turnovers in the first minute of the second half, outside of that, they've done okay against the pressure defense.
Villanova with their largest lead. Pinkston with 13 points and a career-high 6 assists.
And again, on the made foul shot, they've got the 3/4 court trap.
Nicholas. Way off the mark. Yakubu starts the break to Bell. Pinkston creating space for Tony Chenault. Shazam from 3.
Yeah, and he can create some space. We talked about the fact that Pinkston's a tough matchup. He's got that really powerful, big lower body. Draws the defense, and Chenault's got as many threes in this game as he had in the first 11 games. You said clearing space. Look at him suck all those white jerseys into the paint with him. So Chenault, once again, they've had a lot of open looks from beyond the 3-point line. That's the only way you can shoot it at as high a percentage as they have tonight. You got to be on fire, because sometimes in practice with nobody there, you can't throw it in the way they have. But if you're guarded, you're not going to be able to shoot it as well as they have from beyond the 3.
Marcus Ware back to the free throw line. 11 points tonight, 5 boards. He's played well for the hometown Hawks and has one more coming. Monmouth in the 1-1 here with 8 team fouls for Villanova.
And certainly Ware looks like a guy that can be one of the better post players in the NEC. Had a real good first year 2 years ago after a redshirt year when he had an injured foot in his freshman year. And last year really never got on track. Started the year off, missed the first couple of games with an injury. They're hoping that he is now starting to round back into form.
Villanova on a 19-6 run. Pinkston bowled over Khalil Brown, but he stepped out of bounds first. Either way, it was going against the Wildcats. We're past the midway point of the second half. Monmouth basketball down 65-42. Maurice Sutton is back in for Jay Wright, replacing Javon Pinkston. Kicked ball. Villanova here in their three-quarter court pressure, which has worked.
One of the reasons that trapping defense works is because their bigs are so quick and can cover ground at the back end of the traps.
Nesmith rejected from behind by Bell. Yaru ripped it away. Wildcats will slow it up with the big lead. Bell snaps it over to Chenault.
Sutton got away with the first walk, but not the second.
Nesmith nearly turned it over. Chenault got a hand on it. Preseason coaches poll in the Big East. Villanova picked 12th. A couple of those teams could surprise. Seton Hall and Providence, I think, will be a little better than that. Providence getting Chris Dunn, a point guard, here for second semester.
It came in, had double-digit assists in his very first game. Providence Friars playing well, although they did lose to BC earlier today.
Big story in the Big East today. Syracuse losing for the first time against Temple at Madison Square Garden.
So the Bearcats, the only undefeated team left in the Big East. McCronen's team playing terrific basketball. Real good win in the crosstown rivalry earlier in the week against Xavier.
Jay Wright's squad has looked good tonight. 65-42. Villanova on top. They have forced 21 Monmouth turnovers.
And you mentioned the fact they're the only Big East team with the 4 losses, and certainly the loss at home to Columbia is the one that jumps out at you and really makes you say, how did that happen? But remember, Villanova's got an interesting situation. Unlike anybody else in the Big East, they also play in a thing called the Big Five. And so playing those 4 games against their Big Five opponents is just like playing conference games early in the season. So you get those great rivalry games against Temple, LaSalle, Penn, as well as St. Joe's. So it always makes Villanova's non-conference schedule a little bit more difficult than maybe some other teams.
Gets the blood boiling early in the year.
And again, not just because those teams are good, but because they're rivalry games. It has a totally different meaning than most other non-conference games.
7:59 left in the ball game. Ed Waite will be going to the line for Monmouth to complete a three-point play after this timeout. Villanova on top of the Hawks, 67-44. Villanova well on their way to their 4th straight win and their 8th overall, leading Monmouth 67-44. Dave Popkin, Rob Kennedy back with you at a sold-out MAC in West Long Branch. Revisit our one-on-one from the top of the show. Javon Pinkston has played well off the bench for Villanova. 13 points, a career-high 7 assists, and Andrew Nicholas helped keep Monmouth in it for a while.
Especially in that first half when he knocked down 3 of his 4 threes. But you got to love the way that Pinkston, not just the 13 points, but the 7 assists. You laugh about it when you're sharing the basketball like that.
Couple of rebounds and a steal as well for Pinkston. Ed Waite completes the 3-point play. Nicholas getting a little rest here. Monmouth trying to press. They have forced 16 turnovers, but have not been able to convert. Only 8 points off of those turnovers. Bell and Chenault in the backcourt now as Archie Diacono gets a rest for Villanova. Sutton. Yaru. He'll be going to the line for 2. Monmouth playing at a pretty tough NEC this year. LIU playing against Seton Hall tonight, and they were picked to three-peat in the league. Robert Morris, very good. They have already beaten Ohio, Bowling Green, Cleveland State, Duquesne, and Fordham. You see the Monmouth pick 7th, but the league is pretty deep.
Yeah, especially at the top of the league. LIU off to another good start. Jack Parry in his first year as the head coach. Wagner as well with another first-year head coach. Bashir Mason, they're coming off a good win last night against SMU. Also had a good win earlier in the season against Princeton. It'll be an interesting race, as it always seems to be. And so much importance put on the regular season in the NEC, because come tournament time, a higher seed hosting each and every one of those games really puts a lot of extra meaning on the regular season. And I think at this level, it's a great thing to be able to have.
Yeah, I totally agree. Jesse steals 3 off the mark. Sutton scrambling for the rebound. It comes away to Chenault. The other surprising team in the NEC early on has been Central Connecticut. They have won at LaSalle and at UMBC.
And you got to throw Bryant in there as a big surprise as well. They won only 3 games last year. They've already topped that total this year, including a win on the road up at Boston College out of the ACC.
Archie Diacono, the point guard, is back in there. Bell for 3. Got it!
Wow, talk about a guy with some confidence, stepping right into a deep 3. That time closeout got there. I think they just didn't think he was in range to let it fly.
He's always in range. 13 out of 18, the Wildcats from 3. Bell has 4 of them.
Also number 32, James Bell, is first personal.
Bell charged with the first personal.
See, a good 2 feet from beyond the 3-point line, stepping right into it. That's what happens, though. I mean, he was a very good shooter each of the last 2 years, but as we said, has been their most consistent player, the quiet leader of this team. Coming in, shooting it at 43%. That number's going to go up after tonight.
Daniel Ochefu is back in, replacing Muftau Yaru. Villanova pretty deep this year, and an interesting international roster.
Yeah, you were working on it there. That was a tough sub in and out.
The big problem for Monmouth tonight has been 21 turnovers. They've shot it well enough.
Nice feed. Now there's the 8th assist from Pinkston, and that may have been his nicest feed.
Ashikubu on the reverse. Villanova with their largest lead, pulling away from the Hawks. 6:10 left in the ball game. Jesse steals 3.
And that's just forcing it. Nothing happening. And it's pretty much what he's been doing all season long, trying to make too much happen. As we said, he's their leading returning scorer, was their leading scorer last year. at nearly 13 a game, but he has been struggling offensively so far this season.
Kingston finds another open shooter. Arch couldn't knock it down. Here's Nesmith, 2-on-1.
Nice play.
And Waite with the finish.
It's amazing what happens when you keep it simple. Nice little bounce pass and able to finish on the run is Ed Waite.
17 Villanova turnovers. That's been the one hiccup for them tonight.
Again, simple play, put it ahead, nice bounce pass. Waite running the floor, able to finish with the easy dunk.
Villanova shooting 53% from the floor.
And probably even better than that from beyond the three-point line.
Yep. 13 for 19. 68%.
Yeah, not bad. They said a lot of times in practice, in a shooting drill, you're not able to shoot it that well from beyond the three.
4 fouls on Ed Waite. Monmouth will shuffle in some subs here. Christian White, a freshman from Rochester, is back in there. He's a good three-point shooter. Tyrone O'Garrow. And they'll play with Gary Cox, Marcus Ware, and Steven Spinella. So a lot of the bench getting time here in the second half. Hilliard looking for help and finds it in James Bell. Just over 5 minutes to go here in West Long Branch. Villanova up big. Stolen by White. Smartly waits for help. Reach-in foul on Villanova and Darren Hilliard. That's his third. Monmouth's upcoming schedule, they will be at Fordham on New Year's Eve. Then a tough start to their NEC schedule. They have to go to Staten Island to play a very good Wagner team. At the Mount is never easy. First one goes. St. Francis, PA is yet to win, but Robert Morris may be the best team in the league right now. And then going to St. Francis, New York, no easy task either.
No, so an important start to the NEC slate for King Rice's team.
Gary Cox was featured on SportsCenter earlier this year for a big dunk over Rakeem Christmas, made the top 10.
Oh, it certainly did. I mean, that was one hit. And as it's going on, you know it's on the top 10, so you're saying, really, that's about to happen? So you know it's coming. You know, it was a layup. It's not making the top 10. But he kind of snuck it on him.
Cox getting aggressive, and he pushed James Bell to the ground, committing a personal, his second.
Foul number 25, Gary Cox. His second personal foul, 17.
King Rice has been very aggressive in recruiting, in scheduling, and now in the move up to the MAC conference. He's a pedal to the metal kind of guy.
Yeah, it was interesting talking to him Friday. Said, you know, second year, he's like, I almost feel more pressure here in my second season now. Expectations have been lifted. As we said, got off to a rough start last year with that crazy schedule that they played. They were away from this beautiful arena here at the MAC pretty much for the entire month of November and December.
Yeah, 9 straight on the road.
Yeah, 9 straight on the road. Who does that, right? And he lost their first 8 games, but they were able to regroup and finished on a real high note coming down the stretch of the regular season. Won 9 out of their last 12 games, including a blowout win here at the MAC in the regular season finale. 106-78 against LIU. The Blackbirds were able to go on and capture not only the regular season, but the NEC tournament as well and the NCAA bid. But the Hawks had their way with them here in the last regular season game.
A real highlight for them last year. And Villanova up here, 76-51. Monmouth calls time. Villanova's three-point shooting has been the big story of this ball game. James Bell leading them with 15 points, 4 for 6 from downtown, and the whole team has been electric from the arc.
And a couple of different guys stepping in. Tony Chenault, the guy that had just 3 threes on the season, stepping out. Hilliard, a guy that shoots it at a decent percentage all season long. But their ability to step just about everybody out from behind the three-point line. But Bell's certainly the guy that's been the consistent shooter all season long for the Wildcats. And Jay Wright's team's going to have to utilize that 3-ball throughout the season. They've got good size up front, but they don't have a great post-interior score. Yaru's a guy who's better facing up, that 15-foot jump shot, not necessarily somebody that's going to power you through to the rim. Pinkston's probably their best low-post scorer, but again, he's undersized at times against bigger, stronger defenders that they're going to see in the Big East.
They'll need the guards to score as usual. With 1 on the shot clock, Spinella misses, and they've gotten it tonight from James Bell with 15 points. Archie Diacono with an ankle breaker, but he then traveled. 3:53 left in this ball game. Villanova led it by 15 at the half, and they're pulling away 76-51 over the Hawks. Dave Popkin, Rob Kennedy back with you at Monmouth University on the Jersey Shore. Villanova leading at 76-51, 3:53 left. Wildcats have looked good. I don't know why, but everybody's leaving the Big East. It seems like every year there's a team or two that's going to greener pastures.
Yeah, and it's certainly not going to be the Big East that we've grown to know and love throughout this area of the country. You know, it really got itself started when Syracuse and Pittsburgh announced that they were leaving for the ACC, and then from there it's just been a tumble effect. West Virginia already playing in the Big 12. TCU was supposed to come. They didn't end up coming. And then again, the second big tipping point was when Rutgers accepted the bid to the Big 10, and along with Maryland opened the spot for Villanova. And as you said, now it just tumbles down to just about every conference, including the NEC, that will lose both Monmouth and Quinnipiac. So you just wonder, Dave, though, when's it all going to stop and finally settle down? For one, I hope it stops pretty soon. Starting to get a little ridiculous.
I think so, and I think the answer is never. You know, until there's some major consolidation and you have a lot of 14 and 16 team super conferences, I don't think we'll see an end to these conferences picking each other off. Christian White seeing some second half time, tried to get it to Tyrone O'Gara, who's played for two of the top teams high school wise in New Jersey, St. Peter's and St. Pat's. Here's the Catholic 7. Speaking of Catholic schools, they'll be leaving, and depending upon what year they can get out, right now it's 2015, could be sooner, that they'll join up with, you know, perhaps some other teams like Butler and Xavier and have a good basketball conference.
Forever the conference realignment was 100%. around football, but now finally some conference movement around basketball, and it just got to the tipping point with those 7 institutions. You know, they're part of the Big East, and when Big East brought in football, you no longer had like institutions, and because of that, it was only a matter of time before there was a split.
Javon Pinkston, 4-3. He has been terrific tonight. Off the bench, a starter early in the year, but now a 6th man extraordinaire.
And Archie Diacono again dragging, getting that extra dribble to create space on the throwback on the pick and pop.
DeLeo rejected but fouled. But Javon Pinkston, 16 points, a career high 8 assists. He's played within the flow.
Yeah, very quiet. 16 and 8. And that's because it's all been within the flow of what's going on.
He has 2 times.
Max DeLeo from Cinnaminson, New Jersey, a walk-on who had a fine high school career, over 1,000 points.
Big-time basketball family. You mentioned before his brother TJ playing for the Temple Owls, who had the nice upset against Syracuse earlier today, and Dad Tony, now the senior VP with the 76ers.
Some of the starters coming out now for Villanova. And they'll shuffle a host of new players in the ball game. Nick McMahon, a 6-footer in the backcourt now for Nova.
A walk-on and local product out of CBA.
Mislav Brazoya, a freshman from Croatia, also in for the Wildcats.
Just as well to test your announcing skills. Good job.
Brazoya, the captain of the gold medal under-18 national team in Croatia.
And a guy like most Europeans, very skilled. And got here late and a little behind the 8 ball this year, but they think his size and his passing and shooting ability will give him an opportunity to be a factor as time goes on in his Villanova career.
Chenault finds Brazoya, rebounded by White, just over 2 minutes to go. White's 3 on the way. Rebounded by O'Garo, and he was pushed along the baseline.
Number 5, Tony Chenault.
Called on Chenault. That's his 3rd. O'Garo will be shooting a couple.
Line for Monmouth, number 14, Tyrone O'Garo.
So Monmouth will have a long rest after this. They'll play New Year's Eve at Fordham, Tom Pecora's team. And then Villanova will play on the 28th against Jim Engles and NJIT, and they're a much improved program.
Yeah, much improved. Jim Engles has done a terrific job. They've already played 3 Big East teams, and I tell you what, all 3 of those games were in doubt late in the game. Lost by 1 up at Providence. Had St. John's down in the second half by 15 points, let that one slip away, and then didn't shoot it well against Seton Hall, but you were at that game and did that game. Did a good job hanging in there. It was a 4-point game with 1.5 minutes left. So not a gimme for Villanova.
No, not at all. 3 single-digit losses to Big East teams. So they're playing an aggressive schedule, NJIT.
And they're a team that's mentioned in some of this conference realignment as a potential team for the NEC.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. Ash Yakubu hit the 3, and DeLeo hit the floor hard for the Hawks. Looking a little dazed right here. Vanessa Christensen is the trainer for Monmouth. And DeLeo really hurting here. The sophomore from South Jersey. See what happened. Just knocked backwards by Chenault. There was no foul called on that play.
Looked like heads may have bumped. Looked like maybe Chenault's forehead and his chin, or it may have been when he went down to the floor. I'm not sure if the back of his head hit the floor.
They're going to take their time here with Max DeLeo. King Rice, the head coach, is out there with him. Step aside and be back for the rest of this one. 1:34 left. Villanova big. Back with you at Monmouth. Max DeLeo took a shot under the nose and is shaken up. Came out of the ball game, being tended to by the training staff here, and back underway with Villanova on top 82-54. Dave Popkin, Rob Kennedy with you. Javon Pinkston has been a big story tonight for Villanova. 19 points, 3 for 3 from downtown, and 8 assists.
Yeah, back-to-back 19-point games, both off the bench, so he has really settled into that role as their sixth man.
Number 2, Henry Lowe checks in for Villanova.
Henry Lowe checking in for the first time for Villanova, a 5'11" guard. Lowe hails from New York City, went to the Dalton School, freshman. Also in there with Patrick Farrell. Farrell is a freshman from Brockville Center, New York, Chaminade High School.
And the Wildcats have always been a program that has always had a number of walk-ons. And 3 of those walk-ons able to get minutes here to finish up this ball game.
Also number 11, Khalil Brown, his 3rd personal foul.
Ochefu is fouled. Javon Pinkston carrying the load offensively for Villanova tonight.
Line for Villanova, number 23, Daniel.
As we said, he has really settled into that role as the sixth man. Creates matchup problems. He's got the ability to step you out to the outside. There was that pretty feed on the back door. It wasn't just his scoring, but his distributing. Knocked down a couple of threes and just had a terrific all-around game, showing you a little bit of everything that's part of his offensive arsenal.
Ochefu made 1 out of 2. Christian White off to Gary Cox. 40 seconds left. It's been a convincing victory for Villanova here on the road. It'll be their 4th straight win, their 5th victory in their last 6. And the Wildcats will go to 8-4 on the year. Henry Lowe with it. Off to Mislav Brazoya. Brazoya. No.
Well, he gave you the Euro step, just couldn't finish it.
It's better than the dubstep. O'Carroll missed. Put back by Khalil Brown. 2 seconds left, and that will do it. Villanova led by 15 at the half. Even better here in the second half. 83-56 is your final. And they were able to overcome some turnovers and shoot the lights out from downtown.
Yeah, good all-around team effort. Jay Wright's team did a great job of converting turnovers and then as well converting those open looks from beyond the three-point line.
15 for 22 from downtown. Villanova wins it. They go to 8-4 on the year. Monmouth falls to 5-7. They have lost 3 in a row. So for Rob Kennedy, I'm Dave Popkin saying so long from West Long Branch, where the final score is Villanova 83, Monmouth 56. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN So long from the Jersey Shore. Thanks for watching.